All right, hey, what's up, guys? It's Jamie. Just gonna do a quick video here. It is December 13th, Tuesday, 2022. Sun's a little in my face here, but yesterday was my birthday, and thank you. But I'm not saying that because I want you to wish me happy birthday. I'm saying it because we all get a year older every year, God willing, right? And we get a little wiser, a little more life experience. And you could take, if you're an older person like myself in their late 40s, then you could look at a property maybe you bought, right? Or maybe a 401k that you opened at your job, or maybe some type of a baseball card or a stamp or precious metal that you bought. I don't have any precious metals, but you might have something that you purchased that over the past 5, 10, 20 years has gone up in value. It's worth more. If it's a property, it's gone down in debt, up in value, and you have some options to take money out, to sell it, whatever, rent it out, things like that. So to me, it's the same thing with my, where I'm at today. So the video today I just want to talk about is, somebody asked me, where do I put 10 grand? Where do I put $10,000? I'm getting $10,000. I had somebody else that says, hey, I got $1.5 million. What do you think I should do with it? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not I'm not somebody that's sought after, right? But this is just through my circle of friends and family and people that know me and know what I have access to, like meeting people and the information I have, and then my track record of certain things, of failures and successes. So they're like, hey man, I just want your feedback. I want your input. What do you think? And then they'll make their own decision and kind of bounce it off of what things that I've been doing, okay? So when I do these videos, whether you're a friend or family member, or maybe hopefully one of my kids that will watch this and go, okay, just know that I have your best interest at heart. And if I give you some input for you to make your own decision, it's just based on years, birthdays of experience, and of many years of experience. And when I talk to somebody older than me, especially if they're been successful, I really, even if they're not successful, I mean, it's respect, but I mean, sometimes people end up in a bad place, and you're like, what happened? What was it that caused them to go to that place? What did they do wrong? You can learn a lot from somebody else's failures, let alone your own. So this person said, what do I do with $10,000, Jamie? And what would you do with it? And because I know this person on a deeper level, and I know their situation, and I'm not going to get into their personal business, but I could say that, this person is having some financial challenges right now that need to be addressed. And I've been there, where I've lived beyond my means. I've overextended myself. I've had no idea what a budget was, like money I'm spending and allocating towards things. It's just Wild West, you know what I mean? Especially when I was in my 20s and even in my 30s. So you have to make a decision, a choice on how to spend that money, and where to put it. And my opinion was, after he shared with me, I'm like, well, how much are you negative each month? And he said close to $3,000. Well, why? Why is that? Well, the market's changed. And like, I'll give you an example. If you're in the housing market, if you're a mortgage underwriter, a year ago, things were great. People were refinancing houses. The rates were 2 something, 3 something percent. Everyone's refinancing or buying properties. The rates are so low. It's like, even though people are overpaying for properties, the rates are so low that it's like, where are you going to see these rates again? And now that's dried up. That business has gone away literally overnight. So these people that had gotten a huge pay raise consistently for a year or longer, now that business is either they've gotten laid off, they've gotten let go, they're barely hanging on. The business is down so much for people to just basically have no choice. They need to buy a property, but a lot of people are holding off now, like, me wait and see. All right, I'm just giving you an example. So my friend's income has changed in his household, whether it's because of their spouse, because of their own, their own job themselves, but they've taken a huge hit. He told me it was close to $100,000 gross a year, which is a lot of money, right? That's probably like 50, 60 grand that he's going to miss out on. And he goes, now he's struggling. So $3,000 a month is what he's in the hole every month. And I said, well, how are you paying for that? And he told me that he is rolling it onto his credit cards. I was like, what? Why are you doing that? He's like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm like, it is a big deal, because you're adding a debt burden onto yourself that's going to compound month after month. I mean, you don't know how long this is going to last. It's one thing when you're desperate and you're like, if you're holding your breath in the water and just, you're trapped underwater and you're hoping somebody's going to come and save you and cut your, something extreme, and you're just holding on. But this is like, you got to have a plan. You got to find a way to stop the boat from leaking water, right? In this case, let's call it 3,000 gallons of water that's leaking into this ship that eventually is going to sink the ship, because now you have a high interest credit card that you have to pay every month, and that's going to compound another 3,000, another 3,000, 2,500 or 2,700, whatever it is that it keeps adding on, hoping that the income will change, and maybe it will, but that's not a strategy that I would embark on now, at this point. So I said, well, rather than taking the 10 grand and going and investing it into a stock or an option or cryptocurrency or a precious metal or anything like that, I would first fix the hole in my ship. And I would do that by figuring out, how do I eliminate some debt? I'd have a combination of things like, can I lower this $3,000 nut? How would I do that? If it's my mortgage, then can I rent out a room? Can I move and rent out the house? If I own the house? Can I sell the house, right? If I need to, because I don't want to get to the point where I get foreclosed on or evicted, and then then I have no choices, no options at all. And humbling myself and asking a family, friend, in-law, hey, I'm struggling right now. Could you come live with us? I don't want to rent it out to a stranger, and maybe pay us $500, $1,000. It'd really help us out a lot. Mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever. Get the help. Make sure you can get through this season, whether it lasts for 3 months or 6 months. And then if you're trying to earn more money, if you're like, okay, maybe there's a way I can earn more money, and in a combination of like a right left. Okay, so I'm trying to reduce my monthly nut every month, and that could be like subscriptions I don't need, not going out to eat, cancel a membership I don't need to have, and those type of things. Do I really need cable? I don't know. And then, can I earn some extra money? Now my friend's like, well, I could bartend. I was like, okay. So if you pick up a shift, if you're able to do that, and you can make a couple $100, I don't know what a bartending shift pays, but if you can make $100, $200, $300, $400, you do that a couple times a month. There's like maybe another $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month that helps. Can your spouse do something? Maybe you can Uber or Lyft. I don't know, right? But you got to come up with whatever the variables are to this equation. You got to solve that problem immediately, because it doesn't matter your intent. If you're underwater, right, and you're barely able to keep your and you're barely able to breathe, then you're going to drown. You got to find a way to be leveraged, right, and ready. A lot of the people that are really super successful on some level, right? I don't mean multi-millionaires. I mean just people that have, we call it dry powder. They have cash reserves. They're cashed up. They have money that they can say, oh, this opportunity comes available, right? Have you ever had this happen? An opportunity comes available to you, and you weren't in a position to do anything. You're like, man, I don't have the money. I don't have the time, nor the money, or the resources, or the network, or nothing for me to make this thing happen. And it just flies away, right? And it's gone. And there's no tears for us, right? It's just gone. I've had that happen to me a couple times in my life, more than once. But if you have the money and the resources on standby on your level, and this opportunity comes, and I've also had this happen, where somebody says, hey, I have this product, this service, this thing, and I need help. You know, do you want to get in on that? And I've had the ability to say, yes, I do. Whether it's a real estate thing, you know, whether it's a business, whether it's some type of product or service or something, and I was able to make an intelligent decision where I don't have pressure, or it's easy for me to say no, versus like, oh man, how do I come up with this? Some of these deals are very clear. I'm like, wow, this is a no-brainer. And it's like, this is too good to be true. Well, it's too good to be true because the person that asked me trusts me or likes me, and they brought it to me to say, hey, you know, is this something you want to be involved in? And I have the ability to act. Now, if it's out of my scope, I might bring it to the next guy, you know, who is above on the next level. It's like, you know, has more resources available than I have. And he might be like, he might throw me a bone for bringing it to him. But this is how the world works. But if you're constantly like, you can't get out of the red, you're never going to, I think it's going to be really difficult for you to invest money into other things when you can't even maintain your own, you know, your own household, right? And that would be my suggestion. So that's all I'm really thinking about today as I do this video, because my heart really goes out to anyone in that situation, because, you know, we could lose our health. You know, our health is a gift. Right now, one of my daughters is having some physical challenges, you know, like she has some sickness that she's dealing with, you know, and I won't get into all that, but I believe she'll be okay, and things will be all right. But I don't focus on the negative things. I focus on the things to be thankful for. I focus on the things that are in my control, and I encourage my wife and you know, the people around us to say, you know, people face challenges every day. I mean, look at the people of Ukraine. They were just living their life, and you know, the civilians there, and all of a sudden there's war, you know, brought to their doorstep, and there's massive destruction and people loss of life, and way worse. And there's millions of refugees that have fled, and you know, I look at stuff like that. I look at people that are facing, you know, cancer, that are struggling to find the reason why me, why my loved one, and they have some type of sickness, and that it's not something you might have an answer for, but you got to face it. But if we just constantly focus on the things that are negative, right, they're going to drag us down. They are going to distract you from moving forward. So if you are stuck with a budget that is in the red, where you're losing, but you're spending more than you're making, you have to find a way, if you can, to change that by whatever means are necessary, right? You might have to make some big changes. If you can solve that problem, just think about it. If you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this, in this case, $3,000, I'm actually ahead. I'm with the money I'm earning, and with the debt that I have, I'm in the red. I'm in the black. $500, right? Easily 500, comfortably. You can breathe a little better. You can see a little clearly. You can sleep a little sounder, because you know that you don't have this world closing down on you, especially when you have people depending on you. You know, and then you could be a single parent, you could be a father, you know, supporting a household. You could be a single mom. I mean, I don't know the situations, but I've been there, so I do know what that's like. Okay, that's my 2 cents of the day on Wednesday. I don't have much to say other than I'm in Tesla, and Tesla's getting really beat up, but I'm okay with that, because I have a conviction of where it will go eventually, and that's a different topic. Okay, I hope you guys have a great Wednesday, even though the day is about over, and I'll see you next video.